welcome to KSB TV. Again, another week is going to an end, and there's so much to talk about. And of course, Hedron launched, ICOSA launched, and this is exactly what we want to talk about. Today we got a special guest, Luban. We will bring him up in a couple of minutes, but first we want to say hello to the HEX line and ask him, what did you do all week?
Hello, David. How is it going? It's going great here. Actually, I was just watching the ICOSA launch, as you already said, and looking like the volatility on the markets, and plenty of things to talk about this week again. And yeah, as you can see in the market prices, we have like pretty volatile times still. And first of all, let's see through a couple of tweets, because what I know, Richard is pretty active in America and lots of stuff to talk about. So what did you have prepared at first?
Yes, you know it already. I have a couple of Twitter tabs here prepared for you. But first of all, I have to say in the introduction, I said it a little bit wrong, right? I said that Hedron launched and ICOSA launched, but obviously Hedron is out for a long time. It's just that with the new ICOSA launch, now we have new options with our Hedron, and that's why it feels like it has been launched too as well. But let's get into our introduction here with the Twitter post that I prepared. We have a pre-party planned for this Monday on 3 p.m. UST, I believe it is, and that's where Patrick.
No, it's 3 p.m. Central Time, right? Yeah.
3 p.m. Central Time, and that's where we want to talk about everything that we have planned for the Pulse Masters Golf Tournament. Patrick, are you excited for the stream?
Yes.
Oh, I think we lost Patrick. Your audio is not there anymore. So we have a lot of things going on. Kaylin is working like crazy, and Jimmer Crypto is really excited.
Sorry for that.
Don't worry. So
yeah, sorry for that. But yeah, we already have like a big list of people who want to jump on the stream, and I'm looking forward that we do like a party stream again, where we talk a little bit less about the educational and the high technical stuff about the crypto markets, where we meet the people a little bit more.
That's where we bring everybody up to date on what is going on, and I'm really excited for this event on the September 5th. So many people are texting me that they're about to come, and we will have a Kryptosparbuch booth there, right? We have some drinks there on the 5th, and just have an overall good time with everybody. All right, yes, so let's go to the next topic here. You guys see the events that we have planned with KSB TV, and the 5th, 6th, and also this is 7th here. On those events is where I will personally attend. Patrick, you are going to all of those events as well. What are you most excited about besides the golf tournament, obviously?
Right after the golf tournament, there will be a nice after party. I'm looking forward to that one. And then the sexy ladies, they're is it the sexy ladies? No, I guess the on the next date it's the Cabana party, but then Suzanne's fashion show will also be like a pretty nice party, I guess. And that's what I know, that's like included on the 7th with the Power City party.
So everybody, if you guys want to come as well, just scroll down here on ksb.tv/meetups, and you can sign up and RSVP for all those events. This just makes it a little bit easier for us to plan, and then you will also find all the information there that you need. All right, so let's see what Richard was posting. Not a week goes by where we will have not one of the biggest newspapers in crypto talking about HEX. This one is also from Watcher Guru, one of the biggest newspapers, digital newspapers when it comes to crypto. Again, a nice article written, just shows overall how HEX performed in the last weeks and why it's such a great opportunity in the future. And Patrick, have you seen this? After the Barnsley FC debacle, basically, we have new advertising going on in the UK, and we have our taxis back. This really reminds us of the old
days,
ones,
right? No? New ones, new taxis.
Yeah, exactly. New taxis. The old ones were yellow, and these ones black. I think it looks way cooler. So, and then
actually I like the color scheme more than the old ones. They definitely increased, and also like the pulse chain one with the lots of hexagons in the end. I guess you need to remove our pictures, or like this. This I like the most, with all the pulse chain logos in the back.
And they're such cute little cars, right? Like you would not see them anywhere else in the world but in the UK. It's really noteworthy there. Right, so what else do we have? Everybody knows, of course, Richard Hart has been on the Fresh and Fit podcast, and it was a big success. Not only was it a great interview, the guys were asking some great questions, but just the performance of Richard Hart was amazing. And what came out of it is that over 100,000 people saw this specific video. And then Richard was also there at the after party. And the after party was with girls. I was not able to watch it. It's just a lot of trash talk there. But this stream got even more than 250,000 views. So I think this is a great advertisement here for Hex and Patrick, Hex and Richard Hart. Patrick, have you looked into those streams?
Yeah, I mean, actually, the Fresh and Fit one I did not watch entirely, but yes, of course, I got like all the memes out of it and so on.
So the great thing is, Patrick, you do not have to watch those streams entirely anymore, because I started to cut out those specific timestamps from Richard where he is talking, and I started posting them on Twitter and Instagram. And I just want to tell everybody, guys, please go share and retweet those videos. You can even download them, and whenever you need a good answer from Richard Hart, you can post it to all the haters. And here you see, for example, on Instagram, this video alone got 10,000 views yesterday. Of course, Richard Hart retweeted it and helped a lot with the views. That was great. But if you want to see those short clips, just go to Instagram or go to Twitter, and that's where you will find them. But then to bring it back to crypto a little bit more here, we have a little update, just really a little update from Richard a couple of days ago. He said that there is a little bit of a situation with the devs going on. They have a red team and a blue team, and they are trying to attack the system to really make sure there are no security issues. Patrick, you are in all the Telegram chats. Do you maybe have even other information for us?
No, I don't actually. So the Twitter of Richard Hart himself will be the primarily source when it comes to updates or specific dates when it comes to the Pulse Chain mainnet launch. And as of right now, I only know the same like you also know out of this tweet that like it is with software, you then go in the testing phase and then you stress out your software to the maximum. And doing that, you should be able to find some security bugs, or if not, then you already built it pretty stable. And after this testing phase, I don't see what else is missing out there. So I'm looking forward to see a launch coming in this year.
Exactly. So even though it seems like this update is not that important, it shows us though that the guys are working hard on the software, and we're getting closer and closer. I'm so excited. And as we get closer, we have a lot of good things here coming for all the Hexicans that did their stakes with Staker.app. Staker.app made this tweet here that the Gnosis Smart Safe is putting out another airdrop, and whoever created the Smart Safe before February 9, 2022 has 2 transactions or 10 Ethereum in this wallet is eligible for this airdrop of 400 safe token. And Patrick, we have seen something similar in the past, right? The Hexicans were providing a ton of liquidity back in the day on Uniswap, right? And then the biggest liquidity providers got a lot of Uni token. And we have a similar situation here as well, right?
Yeah, I would say so. And of course, so guys, go ahead, check it out. If you use the Staker app Smart Safe option, or if you just use the Gnosis Smart Safe, then check it out. If your wallet is able to get the airdrop, and once it's out, then claim it, and then it's your decision. You can either hold it, or you can sell it for Hex. You can sell it for USDC. That's your decision, because as you know, you are your own bank. So whatever. But when you look at the charts, like what did the Uni airdrop, for example, at first it ran up for like 40 hours, then it had a 70% drop, and then it started to really move. So yeah, your decision. I don't know if it's like going the same here, or if it gets like the same attention, because what you need to know is when it comes to the Uni airdrop, everybody is like trading there. Everybody uses this this decentralized exchange to swap from one coin to another coin. So really everybody looked like at this coin, or everybody like, typed in uni once, you know. I don't know if like everybody is typing in Gnosis safe. I don't think so. So yeah, maybe just another little bit of free money what you can take along our crypto way.
And Hexicans have been getting free money for a long time. And the reason why I brought up the big airdrop from Uniswap back in the days, because Hexicans were able to profit a lot from that. And I think it's publicly known that Staker app is one of the biggest deployers of Gnosis Smart Safe. So they will definitely get a big chunks of the safe token as well. And I'm really excited to see what they will do about those tokens. All right, so we are coming here to an end of our introduction. At this point, I want to tell everybody, please like and subscribe. Also, use Twitter, the retweet function, and retweet out this video just to bring more Hexicans into the stream. Because right now, we want to talk about Hedron and Icosa. We have invited Bluebum because he knows everything about those products, and we want to dive really deep into this and even make some transactions today, right, Patrick?
Yes, of course. I have to. I want to show something. You know what time in the market really means. I have to show you an account where we just which the person started with $500 and what came out of it. And then in the onboarding account, you may know that 2 weeks ago we started HSIs. So we would have a HSI stake to convert to Icosa today, and we want to stake those Icosas after that. And I also want to do via all the SA NFT.
All right, so let's bring up Bluebum. Let's say hello to Bluebum. How is it going?
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm excellent. Just checking up a few stats as you were talking then. It's good to see you both again.
Thank you.
Yeah,
really
awesome.
good here
Good
as
to
well.
see
And
you.
the last 2 days, I don't know how it is with you guys. I was just watching cryptographics, crypto coffee, right? Crypto slots, for example, to get all my information about Hedron and Icosa. And it's such an interesting topic. I think the most interesting thing that I want to collaborate on today is how much will Hedron pump the hex price in the future? Because we have some game theory there that we want to elaborate today. Bubam, you have seen Hedron from the beginning. You are really into all the streams in the last couple of days. What is most exciting for you right now?
What's most exciting for me right now is the incredible success of people selling their HSIs to the Icosa contract because in order to get Icosa, because those HSIs are all going to come up for auction in about 80, 88, 87, 86 days or something like that, for around 90 days. And I just looked at the contract, and so far over 3,500 HSIs have been sold. So all of those HSIs, those 3,500 HSIs, are going to be coming up for auction. So I'm going to guess that as that comes nearer, the price of Hedron is probably going to go up as people are trying to scramble away enough Hedron in order to make bids on all of those auctions. And the other thing is that once all of those, that's 3,500 HSIs. It's like 20,000 hex shares or something like that. And all that's going to, like, people are going to bid on all of those, and all of that Hedron is going to be burnt. So apart from being deflationary for Hedron, it also means that because Icosa, the Icosa pools are all of the pools are worked out by the amount of Hedron burnt daily. It means that straight after that auction, there's going to be a massive increase in the amount of Icosa paid to each of those three pools. So there's many ways.
Because there are like more bids, there are like is more going on the platform, and the Icosa pools are filled with fees, right? So the more volume the platform makes, the more
well, specifically,
the more units are there. Yeah.
Specifically, the way that the Icosa is worked out by in terms of how much to give to each of the pools, it's worked out by the amount, the daily Hedron burn of the previous day divided by the hex T share rate. And so because all of those HSIs are going to be bid on, there's a whole ton of Hedron that's going to be burnt in order to buy those HSIs. And I think it's going to be, I mean, 3,500 within the space of 3 days or something like that. Like the first day is going to be like 2,500, and then it's just going to, and then you know, it's going to taper off. But it's going to be such a massive amount of HEX stakes that you could snap up for potentially cheaper than they're actually worth on the market.
Why do you think so?
Because there's 3,500 of them, and the starting bids are just going to be paying off the Hedron loan of that HEX stake, which would just be dollars. It won't be very much money. Like it'll be like 5 million Hedron or something, which is hardly anything to pay off a 1 T-share loan. So they're going to go for multiples above that probably. But I'm thinking that because there's so many of them, there's a good chance that you'll be able to get something for cheaper than the full price if you converted that Hedron to HEX in order to get the same stake.
The burning function is definitely one of those things that are really, really interesting. But let's wrap it up a little bit from the beginning. When Hedron launched, we didn't know about all the staking mechanism that would come out, right? It was just a coin that everybody could inflate if you have HEX stakes, and that hasn't changed. But what has changed is now that we have a COSA, we have a smart contract where we can use our HSI stakes and sell it to the smart contract, right? And this enables now different possibilities. We have now Hedron staking and also ICOSA staking. Maybe we can talk about what are the different things here in those different pools, because there are different kinds of earning, right? In Hedron, you only earn ICOSA, but in the ICOSA pool, you earn Hedron and ICOSA. And then I guess they're also not really the same when it comes to the return of investment, right?
Yeah, they're different, and you have to work them out separately. And it's not so easy to work out because in terms of like thinking this is going to be a consistent payout. For instance, we've had 3,500 HSIs sold. All of the Hedron that was borrowed from those stakes got paid to the ICOSA pool. But as that tapers off, that Hedron is going to dry up in terms of going to the ICOSA pool. Because this system kind of puts a price cap on the HEX ICOSA pair. Because if you have a certain amount of HEX, you can work out how much you could get by turning that into an HSI and selling it. And so that's kind of worked out. Anytime ICOSA price goes over that, and I'm talking about the HEX ratio, people have been arbing that. So it's pulling that price back down. So there's a kind of price ceiling on the HEX ICOSA pair. And a lot of people are realizing that who are going into liquidity pools as well, because it's going to probably be a pretty stable pair because of that price gap.
Stable in the sense that they move together, like correlated, you mean, more than stable, right?
Stable in the sense that the HEX ICOSA pair, like because there's a HEX price, you know that it's not going to go too much above that price. So you can set your levels, your liquidity levels just above there and then down below. And you'll be pretty safe that this is going to go within that. Range. Yeah.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
but again, you know that's because I had like the same phone call with Mars the other day, you know, and he also came like with the word stable, and I totally disagree on the word stable here, because we are still talking about highly volatile crypto assets.
Well, only if you measure it. Hang on.
I just wanted to change stable to correlated. Because like HEX to ICOSA, the pair is highly correlated to each other, but it's not stability, you know.
I can definitely see the point that you are making here, Patrick. Let's bring up the screen share and then we look at the chart. And then if we look at the chart, it makes sense to maybe use the word stable, because look at this. What will happen when we go to the daily here? It will just taper off, like it is just in this range, and it just fell down because HEX fell down in price as well, right? So
but no, stop,
but you're totally right.
You need to stop, bro. You need to first click switch to price in HEX, because what you are looking at here is just the US dollar price.
No, he's doing the HEX. No, he's looking at the HEX ICOSA pair.
Yeah, there we go. Here
yeah, but there in the corner it's like 29.38, and here it's like 1.43. So he's at the price. He's not at the
This is the price for one ICOSA for the dollar. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but US dollar. That's why switch to price in HEX, like on the top. No, not here. Huh?
Okay, he wants the inverse of the pair. That's what he's just saying.
Okay.
You mean this
Yeah.
one, Patrick?
The thing is, Patrick, is that the word stable in our industry has come to mean stability with the US dollar. But I'm not talking about that at all. This is not stability with the US dollar. That's obviously incredibly volatile.
That's why I disagree on the term, to name that stable, because everybody knows like stable with stability with like stable coins like one-to-one.
I mean, okay, how about it will trade within a relatively tight range?
And what would be this range?
That's correlation. That's the definition of correlation.
Have you been able to establish a range where this would be? I guess it's when you can sell your HSI for way more ICOSA than you put hex into the HSI, right? Every time this occurs, there's an arbitration point, and you can do that infinitely and just sell your ICOSA for hex again.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw the ICOSA price try to moon, and people just start arbing it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I guess like my calculation a week ago was like 10 by the tens of, I don't know like why I came out with 20 cents and then it was like $2. Somewhere I missed like a zero, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was just a times 10 somewhere.
Yeah.
And Eric van de Dalen is making a really good point here. He's saying 3,500 HSI for auction, 7,000 FPLS launches, jeepers, because those HSIs can be sent back to the ICOSA smart contracts again. We will have another wave of liquidations at around 180 days, dwindle then 270 days, and so on. So
yeah, I kind of disagree with.
This was just if everybody ends stakes and just stakes again, right? That they have like those 90 days or 30 days.
Well, that assumes that people will sell their HSIs that they get back into the ICOSA contract. But I don't know if that will happen because you can just buy ICOSA from Uniswap at a cheaper rate. So you're probably better off doing that. And that will happen until that price point where it becomes better to actually sell the HSI again. So that'll depend on ICOSA staking and how much people want ICOSA. At the moment, I think around 90% of the ICOSA is staked. So we're only seeing about 10% in the liquidity pools and being liquid. Out of the Hedron, if you take out the OA and the SA wallets, about 30% of all total Hedron has been staked. I think it's 16% if you leave the OA and the SA addresses in there.
But I mean, 90% staked for ICOSA, this is a huge number. And all those people right now, they are in their time lock situation, right? Some had 30 days, some 90 days, or even 180 days that they had to be staked. And this won't be there in the future at all, right? When those 90 days are off, everybody can end stake at their own will without paying any emergency end staking fees, right?
Not necessarily. When you enter the pool, it sets the amount of days that you have to stake for, and that depends on your stake's position in the total supply. And it's going to be a different calculation for Hedron and ICOSA, obviously, because they're different total supplies. But also when you stake ICOSA, it gets burnt. So your stake will be part of a much smaller supply, just that 10%. When you stake Hedron, it gets locked up in the contract. So when you're first making a Hedron stake, you're probably going to be relatively low in the positions. But with ICOSA, it's going to be tricky. Like you could get in there at a certain level, and then if tons of people start staking, you could, because the bonus is worked out when you end the stake and you want to collect your yield. And so you could be in a situation where you enter at a low level, but you find an opportunity to exit at a high level, and that's with a bigger bonus. Or the opposite can happen. You can enter at a level and then you get diluted as time goes on, and then when you leave, you're at a lower level and you get a lower level bonus. The nice thing is that those people who are small, who have only some people have 30 days to serve, some people have 90 days to serve. For those people who are really small and have 30 days, they'll be able to get their hands on their yield and their principal to either sell it or to restake, and so they'll be able to compound those profits. Whereas the larger players will have to wait a little bit of extra time to get theirs, but then they also get the bonus. So yeah.
And also, what is a little bit different in the staking here, you already said that your staking amount determines on how much bonus you get, and this can go up or can down the staking ratio, right? And you maybe fall into another league category. What you can do is you can add to your existing stake, which would then reset the timer again, right?
Yeah, let's say you entered let's say you were the first person to enter the pool, and it worked out that you were a whale. And so you got locked up for 270 or 360 days. And then as people come in, you have a lower position within the total supply. And as people mint Hedron and all that kind of stuff, what you can just do is you can just pay 0.1 or 1 ICOSA, like you can add to your stake, and it will recalculate the amount of days that you have to be in the contract. And so you can just like work it out and go, okay, if I just pay 1 here, it's going to reset the days. But let's say you've got in and you're in for 360, but then you realize if I just pay 1, I can be out in 90 or 180. And then you just pay 1, and then from that day, it'll set the amount of days. So it's resetting the stake, but it might reset it at a lower day amount when you first do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have talked about the Hedron staking, the ICOSA staking, and then there's also another pool, the WhatsApp pool going on, right? So let's talk about that a little bit, because this is also the pool where we would like to make a transaction later on. Bluebomb, have you participated in the WhatsApp pool?
Yeah, I've made a few WhatsApp NFTs, and that's interesting. That on the very first day, the payout for that pool was massive, and I think it was again because of the way that pool is worked out. It's it's the daily Hedron burned of like the others divided by the HEX t-shirt rate, but it also gets a copy of all the bonuses. So when everyone sold their HSIs to the contract, especially their Quattro Cinco HSIs, because that attracted a 10% bonus, that bonus gets copied and given to the WhatsApp pool. So because 3,500 of them were made, and a lot of them were Quattro Cinco, and some of them had launch bonuses, which also attracted a bonus, all of those bonuses got copied to the WhatsApp pool and got paid out. And I think that's why the WhatsApp pool on the first day had such a massively better payout. It's chilled out since then, and it looks to be coming in line more with the others.
Bluebomb, can you talk about the game theory?
I just calculated it. Like I did not enter with one address on the first day, but on the second day. So it's like the second day was like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the day like was Friday, but that's not over yet. But like in those 4 days, and I'm at a return of investment from the volume of 3.5%.
Okay, that's pretty good, hey, in 3 days, hey. Yeah.
The first day was something like more than 30%, 40% of return just for this one day. But
I think it was like 18% on the first day.
Yeah, it was not that crazy as you were saying right now, David. It was not that crazy.
Yeah, maybe I just calculated my numbers ballparking. But Bluebomb, the WhatsApp pool has a really specific game theory, right? With this NFT that you create. Can you maybe talk about that? What happens once you create this NFT, and how does the game theory work out?
Okay, so the WhatsApp pool is different in a couple of ways. First of all, when you go into that pool, you're giving up your principal. You're paying to get into that pool, and in return, you get shares of that pool. But in the other two pools, you get your principal back. It's just like staking. But in this one, it's different. You pay the principal. You say goodbye to that. That's a no expectations thing. So you get these NFTs, and they collect yield every day. In order to actually get that yield, you have to burn the NFT. And so if you burn the NFT, that NFT is no longer collecting yield. So that yield, the yield that would have collected, goes to everybody else in the pool from that moment on. So it's like a last man standing kind of thing. The other option you have with these NFTs is that you can sell them on a market like OpenSea or Referral, Hex Market.
And what happens with the money you give up? Is that burned, or is it going somewhere, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's going to the Hedron deployer, the flow address of the Hedron address, and that's just like a no expectations kind of pool of money. Interestingly, the biggest maxi whale went
Yeah,
a bit
I
wild.
wanted to go to that right now. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. Tell us the maxi story, please.
Well, on the first day, the biggest maxi whale went a bit wild and started buying up tons of WhatsApp NFTs with maxi, and he bought so much that he's actually turned the Hedron deployer into the biggest maxi whale.
By far.
And then by far, yeah. And then the other day, that Hedron deployer burnt 1 million maxi as like a goodwill gesture.
That's amazing. This was $100,000, right? And it was sent to the null address, and this means it's actually really burned. Now this maximum supply of maxi is 293 million, and it was 294 million in the past, which means now the maxi stakers will get 0.33% more HEX and Hedron in the future, as I understood.
Yes. Yeah, like a little payment. It's like a little present.
A little extra, yeah. Or maxi, like maxi holders. If you're a maxi holder, then the redemption value of your maxi increased.
Just went up. Yeah.
Patrick, if you put yourself into this maxi whale position, right, would you have done such a move?
I'm not sure, because like since then I'm thinking about it, you know, like what benefits does it has and whatnot, because like generally speaking, I like to sit on my maxi, and I'm only like convinced to do a little bit for team when it comes out in a few weeks. So I was not even thinking about touching my maxi when it comes to the VRL, the SA pool.
Because I want to talk a little bit about the use case of the WhatsApp pool and about the NFTs. Because Patrick, we've talked in the past, we have made some NFTs. Blueberry, you have made one as well. Now the biggest maxi whale did a lot of NFTs. But my question is, if you put in the money for the NFT, now you will not get back your principal. Now you have to wait a certain amount of time until your NFT is actually accumulated enough yield to make up for the principal that you lost, right? Yes. So there's this one thing going on, and that's why I want to talk about like what is the use case, because you have to wait a long time, I guess, you know, to make up for that. And then once you break this NFT, once you get to this yield, it's gone. You do not get this NFT anymore, right? So what would be a good advice for what kind of people is this NFT good for?
People who have diamond hands. People who can outlast everybody else. Yeah.
I tell you like what I think like for whom they are. So for example, 2 years ago on Christmas, I did like a stake for each and every little one in my family. Yeah, so they don't have access to those stakes, and each and every stake is like for 15 years, so like till 2035. And with those stakes, obviously, I was able to claim at first a few months ago for Hedron, and then like now what I did is like with all those stakes, I minted the Hedron, and I with this Hedron I minted WhatsApp NFT, and those NFTs are to be held like until 2035, so like for another 13 years. And I guess like 13 years is a pretty good time that I think by then lots of people will have already exited the NFT position already. And for all those wallets, for all those stakers who already have like a long time frame, you know, a long they want to wait long time until they take their profits. For all those wallets, I did mint a WhatsApp NFT.
I think where do you see the most value for the WhatsApp pool?
Well, on Hex Market at the moment, they're working on contracts that link the actual JPEG to the financial NFT, and that looks like they're trying to launch in September. That stuff, I think that's going to come soon. And when it does, that's the most bullish thing for me about these NFTs, because if you think about it, especially the both the HSI and the WhatsApp NFT is I think there's going to be a premium in there because it's about, if you're just going to sell those on a market, first of all, no one can ever get those NFTs. There's just this 14-day period that we're in at the moment, and then there's no more of them. And it's going to represent it's going to have an amount of ICOSA that you could mint from it, but it's also going to have all the potential future earnings.
So basically what you're saying is that you don't see that lots of those NFTs will get burned in the future. You see that most of them will just get like resold, and even with a premium, because it's like a NFT which you can never recreate.
Yeah, I mean, if they're ever sold for a discount, it's like buy it, grab the ICOSA, get it out, you've easily just made money. So I don't see them selling for too much of a discount, because the person who is selling them could just do that. So they would only probably sell them at a minimum for what they're worth, unless they're really desperate and no one was buying them. But because of the future potential earnings, and then in the future, if there's an actual JPEG art attached to that, like having art attached to these financial NFTs is going to make them so much more marketable. They're having that combination, I think. It's like having jewelry,
look at this beautiful art, and it earns you passive income.
But I am with you here, Bluebird. I don't think they will sell in a discount, only if they have not accumulated the yield yet. But later on, once they have accumulated the yield, right, you can just end it and get out what you earned. So it doesn't make sense for it to trade in a discount. But what would the premium be with the Hex community behind it? With people really being attached to those NFTs and having diamond hands. Because as I see it, those NFTs are for two kind of people. First of all, they're for me, for the Hexicans, that they just love having an NFT just earns a lot of yield, right? Probably more than Hedron and ICOSA staking or Hex staking. And then that's also a really good product for people that just have liquid Hex, for example, and don't want to think about it. Because it happened to me in the past where I made a stake, and then when the end stake came, I totally forgot about it, and I had to pay like 2 months of end staking fees. With the NFT like this cannot happen. It will just run and run and run. You do not have to care about it, and then eventually it will jump up in price because of the community, right?
Yeah, maybe people will use it as presents for like family and stuff like that. Like it's just such a simple thing. You send an NFT, and that NFT will have value, and there's not too much you have to stuffing around that you have to do. Like if you know basic MetaMask, you can just or getting used to Referral or OpenSea or Hex Market, you can just be able to sell it easily, I think. So maybe technologically wise, they'll be simpler to handle than Hex and Stakes and HSIs and all of that.
So I guess you have a pretty busy week behind you, right?
I'm actually not going to go too hard into the Watsu. Oh, okay, I'll tell you my alpha.
Okay, go ahead.
My alpha, looking at these 3 coins, is obviously the Hex. The value is going to flow to Hex, and obviously all of these prices are going to depend on the Hex price. So, really Hex is the underlying asset here. But out of our Hedron and ICOSA, I think Hedron, even though people can make stakes and get Hedron for free and they can mint it, and we had all those 10 bonuses given away, I still think that ICOSA is going to be the inflationary one over time, and that's not going to be. And you can't do as many things like with Hedron. You can buy off the auctions as well, and you can borrow Hedron. So I think the value is going to flow towards Hedron, and so I've been much more hedging myself to end up with Hedron rather than too much ICOSA. I'll give you some more alpha. I'll give you another bit of alpha. Well, these 3,500 HSIs that are coming up for auction. If you go to hsiwatch.com and you put the ICOSA contract address in there, it will load up all of those HSIs. And so you can go through and you can check how many T-shares they have, whether they have a launch bonus, how many days, all of that kind of stuff. And so I think that's the best shopping list to use.
Bluebam, do you have some numbers maybe in your head? Like we have 29,000 T-shares that were locked up. Do we also know what the amount of hex that is?
Yeah, actually, if you go to stakehex.com and you put in the ICOSA contract, it might take a while to load, but it will tell you all of those totals.
Yeah, it might take a while to load, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So where do we, yeah.
Stakehex.com. Yeah,
Stakehex.
stakehex.today. And,
stakehex.today.
and then you put the ICOSA contract, which if you've got it handy, I can send it to you.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Send it into the private chat, and then we can look at this as well. Because like just yesterday, I tried to do that actually, but I guess I just used the wrong address to put it into stakehex today, because it just made so much sense to me. Everybody who makes an HSI stake makes this HSI stake with this one specific address. So this address should show exactly how many stakes there have been made and how much hex has been used, right?
Exactly. Yeah, stakehex.
Yeah, but only not like what on HSI stakes there were in total created. Those are only the HSI stakes who were like exchanged for ICOSA, so sent back to this contract, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Actually, it's working out super quickly on stakehex.today.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, the numbers are loading up here for me as well. As soon as I have them ready, we will bring that as on a screen share. So what else do we have? We have discussed Hedron, we have discussed ICOSA and the WhatsApp pool. And we, in the beginning, we talked about why this system is pumping the hex price because of the arbitration possibility, right? And that's where I learned, wow, ICOSA is amazing because now ICOSA gives me the possibility to sell my HSI stakes at any point in time that I want to, right? If I want to have this flexibility. And if you have liquid hex, then now it just makes so much sense for me to immediately put it in 5555 HSI because you have now the possibility to get out of this with your ICOSA that you can then also sell instantly on the market. Are there more possibilities?
Well, it's locked. I mean, it's locked up a ton of hex for Quattro Cinco. You're about to find
sell
out.
Pressure, right?
Reducing sell pressure and supply, yeah. And it's highly, you've got more things that you can do once you've staked hex. So you earn hedron every day. You can mint that hedron. You can stake that hedron. You can get whatever new thing ICOSA is, and you can go and stake that as well. So it just gives you a lot of things to get from your hex stakes. So it just makes getting a hex stake more valuable. And I think those are the two greatest reasons. The other thing is that, like, for people who needed money, they might have had to emergency end stake their hex stake, or they might have had to end it and sell it if it was due. But now they're going to be highly incentivized to first dump the hedron or first dump the hex before selling the stake. So it's almost like he's built these liquidity pools to take a bit of that sell pressure away from hex. So there's incentive to buy more, and I think there's a little bit less sell pressure.
All right, so let's bring up the screen share because I have stake hex today here. I put in the Hedron staking Hedron
ICOSA
address, yeah. And this is what we see here: 1,380 stakes and 14,000 T-shares. And where do we see here? And this is the projected hex that it will earn in the future, right?
It's more than that. It's 3,585 stakes. Maybe I've got 18,000 T-shares.
18,000 T-shirts? Oh yeah, I just had to update, I guess. And now it showed that for a second and now it's running again. Well, yeah, there's a lot of hex stakes to be calculated. I guess that's why the site just needs a little longer. You see the number is ramping up fast.
The projected hex number doesn't really matter. You know, that's like projected hex with those lines what you see in the graph for like 15 years. So projected hex does not mean like hex in principle.
So it's nearly 150,000 hex that has been taken off the
150 million hex. You mean?
Sorry, 150 million hex. Yes.
Yeah,
And this is huge. This is half of the size from the maximum stake that has been made, right? And let's see, Ecosa just launched a couple of days ago. Let's see how much hex will actually be locked up in the future because of those amazing smart contracts. I think that they reduced the sell pressure here so great. This is really something that we can, as a community, look forward to, because all those HSI stakes, 5555, this is just amazing to me. Like Richard just recently said it, he believes there's nothing been a financial product where people are willingly to lock up so much financial energy. And now with Hedron and Icosa, it's just the possibility to also have it liquid at the whole at every moment, right?
And what I like as well to the system, with especially with Icosa, you know, with this arbitrage opportunity. Every time somebody arbitrages the Icosa price chart, it means that more hex got locked up for 5555.
Exactly.
And I really liked it. So.
And I believe without this possibility, not so many people would do those 5555 HSI stakes, right? It's just so convenient now with Icosa.
Well, I think it's also a whole lot of Hexicans who have hex stakes coming up, and they have a whole lot of liquid, and so instead of dumping it down, they've got other things to do with it now. So I'm not sure how much of it's new people entering or how much of it's just existing Hexicans, because it is complex to understand all this. You have to understand hex T-shares to understand Hedron. You have to understand both to understand Icosa, and I think it's just captured the imagination of a lot of the Hexicans with plenty of shares and stuff.
So what else do we have going on here? We talked about Hedron, Icosa, about the WhatsApp pool. We talked about Maximum, the whale that is now dumped everything for the NFT, which had actually good price impact, right? Not price impact, but for the community, earning more is now like really amazing. And I'm just thinking about those players, like what is their intention by doing that, you know? So basically the position of who is the biggest maxi holder just changed instantly, right?
Yeah. Well, yes. I've just been sent some stats actually about the pools.
So if you guys have questions, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we have now Bluebum and Hexline here, and they're ready to receive all your questions. So let's see how many we can handle here today.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to, we can move up my screen share and we can start showing Icosa.pro site, and we can move at first the NFT, the HSI to Icosa, stake the Icosa, and then we can do and mint a WhatsApp NFT.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do that. Let's bring up the screen share.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe explain what did we do with our onboarding wallet the last time here on the app?
So yeah, so what this front end shows you is how much liquid Hedron, how much liquid hex we have, how high the hex T-share rate is, the T-share price in form of hex. And here we see like our native stake, which is running since over a year here, where we could like mint a little bit of Hedron, but it's not really worth the fees. And here when I press on Hedron, here we see the HSI, the encapsulated stakes. I will just let it load for a moment and it should come in a second. Here we go. So this is what we did the last time. We did do 2 times 1,000 hex for 5555, which gave us 130 B shares each. So this is what we want to put into Icosa. And here down there would be like the tokenized HSI NFTs. And here the third point on the left side, Icosa. Here we will go ahead. Oops, I went back accidentally. Here at first we will see the Icosa staking. So after we get the HSI stake converted to Icosa, we can start the stake here. We see the total pool size here, 7.7 million Icosa staked in total. And here is the hedron staking. We are not going to do that because we don't have any hedron in the onboarding account. But what we are also going to do is the VRL the SA NFT, and here we will mint an NFT worth with 1,000 hex, because that way we will have the HSI with 1,000 hex. We would have converted one HSI worth 1,000 hex into ICOSA, and we would also staked 1,000 hex as a WhatsApp NFT, and that way we can find out in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years, like what actually was the best out of it.
Bubam, if you see this strategy here with our onboarding account, what do you think? What will outperform each other the best?
Interesting question.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's why we are doing it that way, that we can.
From the
like,
gut feeling,
gut
feeling, I would say it's the WhatsApp pool somehow. It seems like this accumulates yield the fastest, right? It's really a special thing here. So I'm guessing the WhatsApp pool.
Yeah, but there you also,
yield.
there you also lose your principal. So what you put it in, you lose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to wait a specific time to get all that back, and then let's see in 1 year what will be the most best return of investment from those pools. So Patrick, you just clicked on action. What is the first thing that you need to do when you have an HSI stake already going like we have here?
So first of all, we need to tokenize the stake, and then we can exchange it for ICOSA, right, Blue?
That's right.
Yeah.
But if I was you, I'd check the price of ICOSA on Uniswap before just selling your HSI stake.
Yeah, I mean, should we show something to the crypto community right now, or should I time the market?
Let's check the ICOSA price first. Let's check if it would be really worth it. But Patrick's point is, of course, we want to show it today how the action is really performed here.
I'm sorry. So, yeah.
First, you want to work out how much.
I did not hear what you said now. Yeah. So
this would also be one of my questions, because I also have been doing my HSI stakes, and the 2 times that I did it, I went ahead right away to sell it to the ICOSA smart contract. And what I've seen, I ended up with a couple of dollars more than I actually put in, right? So it would be interesting to see if the situation is differently right now. How could we go about this calculation? How could we find out how much ICOSA our HSI stake would get?
Okay, so let's go back to that screen, and you can see how much hedron you could borrow from that stake. And
Patrick, are you checking the price, or do you want to bring up the screen share?
Yeah,
I'm not bringing up screen shares. I am in the screen share.
All right, perfect.
So that's a Quattro Cinco, and the advanceable hedron is, so you take that number 725,764, and you divide it by the HEX T-share rate today, which I guess you find on HEX Daily Stats or whatever. I'll quickly look
you find it on this side, actually. You just scroll up. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. There it is at the top. Yeah. And then you times that by 1.1, because you get a 10% bonus.
Yeah.
I don't know what numbering system you've used there. What's that?
34 ICOSA?
No, that doesn't sound right. No.
Okay, then I go down again. So I have 725,764.46 divided by 23,201.7 equals 31. Yeah, this comma is German. That's point. Yeah, that's.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's how much? So is it like how much of a T-shirt?
That's a point. So that's a point. Just imagine that's a point. So this is 31.28, and this time.
And then sorry.
So 34 total units. 34.40. So that the comma, it's German. Just imagine a point.
I guess
Right.
what we would have to do is now look.
Hang on. So for one T-share, we worked out it's about 200, a little bit around 240. So how much is, just to check, how much is that? That was worth only 3/4 of a T-share, wasn't it? Or
0.13
oh
of
no,
T-
T4. Oh, okay, it's low. That makes sense then. Yeah, that price is right.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah. All right. So 34.40.
And-
So how much Icosa is at the moment?
Yeah, 140, 139. So that's like $48.
Yeah.
And now I
So
guess
you
we
probably
would have to compare how much hex did we use to create this HSI stake, right? How much
Yeah.
money was
1,000.
that?
Yeah. So it's 1,000 hex. So 1,000 times 5 cents. So it's about $50. So you're probably better off buying the Icosa at the moment, depending on how much slippage there is. But there won't be much for what you do.
And but often I think we will see the Icosa price being over this arbitraging point, because if you do sell your HSI, why would you sell the Icosa for less than you put in, right? It's only when the people have big positions in Icosa and want to get rid of that instantly that the price of Icosa could go down a little bit more. But Luba, what happens if the price of Icosa is way down below even the arbitrage point?
Then it's just a better opportunity to buy it, because you can be pretty sure that at some point in the future it will reach the arbitrage point again.
Yeah.
I mean, if no one wants to buy it, then it'll just stay down, won't it? But it will depend on the demand for Icosa.
And the demand of Icosa is there anyways, right? Because now you can stake it and earn Icosa and Hedron with that. So this is, I think, where the loop is closing here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's obviously this, like, you need demand for Icosa for its price to remain, you know, up at all. And but what you have the opportunity now is to compare getting Icosa through selling the HSI or just buying it from Uni. If it's cheaper on Uni, then you buy it up. That pushes the price up. If it gets to the point where it's expensive, people will either dump it down or they'll go buy Icosa with a HSI and then sell that Icosa, and that will bring the price back down.
So I see already Patrick is thinking really hard what he should do with 2 stakes in the onboarding account. Patrick, do you want to go ahead and just showcase to the community how it works to sell an HSI stake to the Icosa smart contract?
Yeah, sure. You know, because also like for the community, you know, that we can clip that maybe. But I'm just like trying it out right now. And I mean, first of all, fees are a little higher than usual. And second of all, I need like 30 or a minute until my MetaMask with the screen share gives me the custom nonce that I can confirm the transaction. And that sucks so much if you want to do a specific showcase video. So I don't know like how to do that right now.
Well, Patrick, the struggle is real. We are still on the Ethereum blockchain, and that's where we have to abide on all those time limits and so on, right? So I think you made a really good point here. Maybe we wait until the weekend there, the gas fees are low a little bit, and then we can make a specific video on where we sell our HSI stake to the Icosa smart contract, just so our community has this video as well. And
yeah,
because you know, like if every click like needs I don't know how long that I'm able to click it. Like right now, I cannot click on cancel. It's not now. It's working. It's like with this waiting times in between. It just sucks. Yeah, it just sucks.
It's just crazy, right? And this just shows us that how early we are in crypto. Well, because whenever you are doing things in crypto, you will have bad default settings, you will have errors occurring to you, and you have to take the time to understand why is this occurring and how to get rid of those problems, right? Bluebomb, we are coming to the end of our stream here. Maybe let's talk something different than Hedron and Icosa. We were just seeing Hex lying here struggling with the blockchain. How excited are you for Pulse Chain? Because Pulse Chain will solve all of that, right?
Man, I hope Pulse Chain comes out in the next 3 months so bad, because all of those 3,500 up for auction, I just want to see auctions on both chains. And I think that Icosa and Hedron on Pulse, because people are going to just like be able to borrow and pay off those borrows with, don't have to worry about fees whatsoever. So your decision making is purely on the tokenomics and not through, okay, what are my gas fees for this?
Exactly.
I'm super excited about Pulse, obviously, like I think all of us. And I think it's going to be really, I think the behavior in Hedron on those two chains is going to be really different, and Hex for that matter as well.
Oh, how come that you say it will be so different, the behavior on those two different chains?
Well, I know that when I went over to Poly, when Poly came out ages ago and they started having Hex there, a whole lot of us went over and jumped onto that, and for about a week or two with it. But while I was on there, man, not having to make a decision in terms of if you want to trade, like, and how much it's going to cost you, like going into this liquidity pool for half a day, and then it's like, hang on, I think I'll be better off if I take this out and just put a little bit in there and put some. You just can start making decisions and start moving stuff around, and you just don't worry about any fees whatsoever. It was really like being constipated, and then all of a sudden you're just like, it's flowing. And like, I think that on Pulse Chain, people are going to do tons more trades. And I think that, especially with Hedron, with the borrowing and all of that, once we get to a price where, like, let's say the amount of Hedron you can borrow is about half what that share is, what that HEX stake is worth or something like that, or a quarter of it's worth, I think that's going to make it really incentivized for people to start borrowing and using that money for other stuff.
I agree to that, but I don't know like how the Hedron price could go to such a high level.
I mean, it's just a matter of time. Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of, for me, it's just a matter of time, because Hedron is disinflationary, and because it's tied to the T-share rate, and now with all of this Icosa staking and Hedron burning, and this huge injection to the auctions, I think it's just going to go faster. I mean, I always thought that it was going to happen eventually, but Hex inflates, exponentially, although that doesn't come out until people end their stakes, so it's only getting paid to stakers. But Hedron, there's a point where it becomes disinflation. It just drops off the map, and there's a point where it becomes deflationary as well because of the burning. So at the moment, we're still, in this high inflation period, but once those, especially those launch bonuses, start getting used up and people start minting that, then it starts, going to market and being staked and all of that kind of thing. It becomes disinflationary and inflationary and deflationary as well. And I think the overall, it's a very interesting token because it's going to move through those, like disinflationary like Bitcoin, but then deflationary as well because of burning. And then because it's all tracked by the HEX T-share rate, disinflationary. And so it's going to have an interesting life. I think that
maybe we can talk a little bit more about the deflationary aspect, because we have a question here that leads up to this question as well. Do you have a calculator for spending Hedron for HSI liquidations? So I guess the question is, how much Hedron do you need for those liquidation HSI stakes that are about
This is going to be so
out?
interesting. Okay, so let's say somebody staked. Yeah, so let's say someone sacked a T-share. They got a T-share, so it cost them about 7,000 HEX to get the T-share, and plus all the gas fees and all of that kind of stuff. And they borrowed 5,555,000. 5.5 million Hedron is not worth very much money at the moment. How much is it? It's like, is it even $10 or $15 or something like that? I'm not sure, but it's something very, very low. So you could, and the HEX stake, like 7,000 HEX, however much that costs you to make, it probably costs you like, how much is 7,000 HEX times? So that's like $350. Is that right? So 350 US to make, more or less. Yeah. So 350 US to make a T-share. So that's how much at the base level that that stake is worth, because you could just go make that yourself, and you wouldn't have those 3 months of hex and then it's already accrued. So maybe you add that on in terms of how you price these. So obviously, like, there's a massive discrepancy between how much it's going to cost just to pay off, just to unliquidate that hex stake. But then as people bid for them, I don't think everyone's going to pick. I'm curious. I mean, it's going to be, there's thousands of them, you know what I mean? And they're all going to be bid on. And so I'm thinking people are probably going to start putting in bids at like 20% of what it's worth, maybe go up to 50% of what it's worth. And then I guess some people come in over the top at the end and try to snag those for a little bit more than 50%. But I mean, I really don't know. It depends what tactics you take into those auctions, you know. Like, it's going to cost you gas every time you want to make a bid. Maybe you just put in like 2/3 of what it's worth. And so you've got 3,000, stakes there. You put in 2/3 of what it's worth.
Yeah, a whale who wants to have like the most amount of those stakes, he cannot play like those little games, because there is just like the sheer number of that. And I mean, 2,500 is like in just one day, right?
So this is what a whale should have done. A whale should have made a massive hex stake, like a massive one. And I haven't looked through to see if anyone made those super big ones. But when they come up for auction, nobody else, if that person also has a whole ton of hedron waiting there, most people aren't going to be able to compete with that person. So I think they're going to be able to collect that for at least half of what it's worth, if not like a quarter of what it's worth. I think that was the tactic if you're a big whale.
I hope no whale came up on this strategy, because it sounds amazing, right? It's such an easy play, like you said it right there. But I think once we get closer to the end of the auction, people will see, the HSI stake that's about to come out here is not bid on that much. So let me bid a little bit more, because if I get it, I can sell it and I'm in the plus right away, right? Since this can happen at any time, I believe as closer we come to the end, the price will really be in a premium even, because I think what the people will calculate in as well is
it's only a
future
24-hour
earnings.
period. It's only a 24-hour period.
No. It's going to go on for days. It's going to go on for days.
You think so? Because every time in the 5 minutes, somebody will like.
But I would make it.
No, there's that. Well, first of all, 2,500 are coming due on day one. Then another 700 or whatever day two. Then another 500 or whatever day three. So there'll be this period where every day more and more are coming out.
Yeah.
So
my point is, I'm talking like specifically on this first day with the 2,500, because it's too much like for a human, a whale would need to write code in order to be able to scoop up lots of those HSI stakes, because it's too much to just click it.
Just concentrate on one example stake here, for example. I could argue that every stake that will come out for auction will have at least 10% of a premium, and this is what they will sell for. Maybe they will sell for 20% premium. And why am I saying that? Because I believe people will already calculate
premium on what?
The premium on those HSI stakes, because the people will calculate in the future earnings. Because if you get one of those HSI stakes, they have the T-share price from back then. You could not make an HSI stake like that when it comes out, because the T-share price went up a little bit already. And that's, I think, where the premium will actually come from. People being emotional and bidding more than it's actually worth, which is okay, because after time those
you need a bull run for that. You need a bull market
accumulate the yield again, right?
So
I've got a bull market condition for that.
Oh, okay. So in the Pulse and the Pulse X sacrifices, what we saw was the whales running up the hex price to that day one, and they did everything they wanted to do on day one, and then let the price drop. Something similar, I think, I'm guessing, happened with Hedron. I mean, partially it was a buy the rumor, sell the news event, but I think it was also like people wanting to push that price up, so that if you're swapping Hedron for Watsu, so you get a good value on that first day. And now we've seen people kind of dump that price down, but now people also are realizing the same thing might happen in 3 months' time. We've got this event where everyone's going to be wanting Hedron, And for me, it makes perfect sense that if you're a whale, even if you're just any person, you buy it now, or you buy it over the next 3 months, and the price is gonna run up right before the auction. I don't know if it's gonna dump just before the auction or just the day after the auction, but like I think there's gonna be some price action leading into these auctions, which is gonna make it, because there's this massive demand all of a sudden. There's this huge supply shock where this whole lot of hex stakes are on the market, and you can only buy them with headroom in a bidding war with other people.
Definitely really, really interesting. And Bluebam, we are coming to an end of our stream here. Is there maybe a question that you have for us before we close up the stream for today? And Patrick, I guess we have not gone through any charts. Do you want to do that, or do you think that's better for next week?
Oh, that's better for next week, I guess. I mean, if you have like any chart questions, then yeah, let's look it up. But
actually, I've just got a quick chart question. Like it's looking pretty red today.
Yeah.
Everyone in the Hex community seems to be going, oh, here we go. Richard Hart called 10K. It's going to go down to 10K. It seems very quick to get to do it right now. I'm kind of thinking this is a little bearish fake out. Because so many people.
I would agree. I would agree to you. Yeah. The only thing which makes me a little cautious to all of that is we might see Bitcoin sent out from Mt. Gox trustee next week, right? That was like end of August, no?
My information of that has always been Tangent, because he's actually one of the people who are owed Bitcoin from Mt. Gox. And so he's just been getting letters and stuff like that. And he says that there's nothing particularly new that's been information that's told to them. We've heard these Mt. Gox fucking rumors.
I know, yeah. But
I mean, I remember those rumors in 2017.
But it was the first time that Richard tweeted this specific letter to them.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So,
look, maybe there's a big dump event, and that's what people are going to wait to see what happens there before they do anything.
I mean, on the other hand, we also saw like a big run up of the stock market of the S&P 500, and it's also like just
I don't see the markets pumping from here, but I don't see them necessarily dumping down to what people are expecting. It's almost like too many people are expecting it to happen for it to happen. Like,
yeah, I see what you're saying, because everybody is expecting it. This is why we could maybe not see that, right? And then I remember in the old days when Hex was so beautifully decorrelated from the different crypto market, right? Bitcoin and everything was going down, and Hex was just shooting up. And I wish just something like this will happen in this bear market again as well, where like maybe crypto overall is tanking, but Hex staying strong and having all those people coming into the system because they want to earn yield as well. So I'm really excited for the future. I cannot wait for Pulse Chain and Pulse X, of course. This will be really, really excited. And then, of course, we want to see our Hedron liquidations on both sides, right? On Ethereum and on Pulse Chain, like you said, Bluebam. All right. So I do
liquidations?
Yeah, like the liquidations that come out in
liquidations?
The
HSIs, man. I mean,
yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so we don't have.
Like where can you trade on leverage Hebron? You know that you can get liquidated.
We don't have any more questions here in the chat. Bluebam, thank you so much for being here with us, explaining Hedron and ICOSA. Your knowledge is really, really needed in the Hex community, right? Because it's so much, like not one person can grasp all of that. So I'm really happy you were here. Thank you for you guys being in the chat as well. Thank you for all the likes and subscribes. And don't forget KSB TV/golf tournament. If you want to learn more about the September 9th golf tournament, the first international golf tournament. I'm really excited for that. And we all see us there. Bluebam, Patrick, see you soon.
Bye-bye, everybody.